88 degrees at game time. That'll bring the fans out. So will the optimism surrounding the 2022 edition of the Padres. Collapse in the second half last year. Manny Machado has been off to a terrific start for the Padres this year. And as smooth as Manny is, how about Matt Olson and the way he has gelled with his new team, the Atlanta Braves? Ozzie Albies, he is the straw that stirs it all. Wearing a microphone for us tonight. If it's anything like it was pregame, we're all in for a treat. As baseball tonight, Sunday night baseball on ESPN. Our telecast is presented by Taco Bell. What a scene this is. One of the great ballparks in America here in San Diego. And the Padres have real high hopes with a new manager, Bob Melvin. That's David Cohn, Eduardo Perez, and I'm Carl Ravitch. Atlanta's looking to make it 3 of 4 here. Their offense has kind of found its stride. And I mentioned the smoothness of both Matt Olson and Manny Machado. Any other words to describe what they do day in and day out?
No, that pretty much says it all. And the thing is, it looks really effortless for both of them. And Matt Olson,
that's a good word, effortless.
Since last season, since he figured out how to hit left-handed pitching, 22 home runs against him, has taken that now to the National League. And he has created damage early on. Yes, he might not have all the runs driven in so far, but he's getting on base at a high clip, and he's forcing the opposing pitchers to throw strikes. And when they do, they are paying for it in a major way. Matt Olson, not only great offensively, but defensively. And when you talk about defense, when you talk about offense, complete player, it's Manny Machado. Another effortless outing from him in the first game against the Atlanta Braves, where he ended up going 5 for 6 with a home run, 4 runs, and oh yes, 2 stolen bases to go with it. He continues to create damage, and he is their leader in that infield.
Without a question. Tatis looks like he's going to be back sometime June, maybe July. Acuna's coming back for Atlanta, which is a good sign. Let's go to the mound now. You got a kid named Elder, which doesn't make a lot of sense, making his second start, and Yu Darvish is making his 215th start. Look at Darvish's first 2 starts this season. Doesn't make a lot of sense. He went all Clayton Kershaw in his first outing. 6 innings, no hits. He did walk 4. He struck out 3. And then in the second start, he got crushed. Just a 1 2/3, one of his worst starts ever. He gave up 9 earned runs, second most he's ever given up. This is a conundrum. What's going on? And which Darvish shows up, and what's going to be the key to it?
Yeah, I guess you could say, well, you know, it's the usage with Yu Darvish, right? I mean, it's a question of when you have that kind of talent and you can throw the ball with a lot of different grips and make it move right to left or left to right. It's which fingers do you put down if you're trying to catch this guy, and what pitches should he feature? The big question last year, his cutter got kind of lit up to the tune of 340 on a batting average against, and I think that's probably the question. On the other side, how about the kid? He's a movement specialist. You think about high velocity nowadays, not from Bryce Elder. He definitely has good control, is more of a guy that's going to throw cutters, sinkers, and changeups and try to disrupt timing. It'll be interesting to watch him, the 22-year-old out of the University of Texas.
Yeah, the Longhorn only 22. The other guy, Darvish, 35. Ozzie Albies wearing the microphone. He and Ron Washington are a comedy show, like Ozzie and Harriet back in the day. Ozzie and Wash. We'll talk with him. But they have the whole thing set up for Michael Kay to do this K-Rod telecast remotely, but they have been united. K-Rod and A-Rod, the K-Rod cast, thanks to the copter. That is airing on ESPN2. Our first pitch comes up right after this.
When it's the end of the weekend, but not quite the end of the weekend. You got me feeling like Sunday. You got me feeling like Sunday.
All right. Yep, thank you. Last year that was the San Diego Padres. I mean, they were surfing along off of 21. They built a juggernaut. They were going to win the whole thing in 2022. The NL West race was tight. They came apart in the second half of the season. In fact, Padres, the only team since 1900 to stand at least 18 above 500 through August 1 and finish with a losing record. That's partly because the Dodgers and Giants were so great. They had a lot of issues, including health. And the Atlanta Braves come out of nowhere. In fact, the Braves, the first team in Major League history to win the series after being below 500 through August 1 or later. Our baseball lineup tonight, Ozzie Albies leads things off. Olson and Riley Ozuna's hit the ball harder than anybody this early season. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher, got the day off yesterday. He is back in the lineup, and they all are going to face the veteran Yu Darvish. Here are some of the numbers. It's 0-1, a real high ERA based on that disastrous second start. And you never know what you're going to get, except they want him to throw more four-seam fastballs.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, the trend over the last several years with Yu Darvish is more cutters and less four-seamers, but as we said last year, his four-seamer was very effective. 153 batting average against. His cutter, 340 batting average against. So you don't have to dig too deep to see what they want.
They immediately go into the shift with Albies, who's got a homer in the first 3 games. He swings at the first pitch and is fouled off at the plate. For Tim Kirkston on baseball tonight. No one has ever in a 4-game series at Petco. There's never been a 5-game, but no one in a 4-game series has ever hit a home run in each game. Next one from Darvish. That is also fouled off the plate, and he is ahead 0-2. Splitter at 88. Here are the 3 home runs. Spoke to Ron Washington before the game, so I'd love to see him hit a few more singles. But there's always been this debate around Ozzie. Should he just hit from the left side or the right side? Just focus on one. Well, this weekend he's hit a home run from each, and he tries to dump one into left where the shift has left it open, and then he had a hard time getting his hand off the bat.
Yeah, an advantage right now, one, because of the shadows, but 2, he's been able to throw that off-speed pitch for a strike. All 3 pitches that he's thrown so far, none of them have been the heater. It's been cutter, splitter, splitter. Advantage 0-2.
And the advantage also to the pitcher because you can see the shadow cutting right across the infield. That presents all sorts of problems, right? Eddie and right, Coney gives you an advantage.
Oh, it depends on who you're asking.
I'm asking you both.
No, if
like
you're asking me, if you're asking me, it's a lot of problems.
Machado is playing in the shortstop position. C.J. Abrams, young kid there with Ha-Seong Kim, and that is a swing and a miss. Good start from Yu Darvish, another splitter at 89. And he strikes out Ozzie Albies.
Well, you can see the grip right there, Carl, and the tumbling dice action down and away, perfectly executed. Pick up the rotation on this, Eduardo.
That's why they're showing this angle. Unfair. When you have that splitter in action this time of day here in Southern California, good luck.
So here's Darvish to face Matt Olson, hitting over 400 early this year. First one to Matt. Breaking pitch misses, a slider. 1-0. Darvish, again, 6 innings, didn't give up a hit against the Diamondbacks. You look under the hood of that start, though. He did walk 4. In the next outing, he got 5 outs and allowed 9 runs to the Giants. Olson did a home run yesterday to left field. Fouls this one down the line and into the seats. You could not have asked for a better start if you were the Atlanta Braves, given you just lost a living legend to Los Angeles, or you're Matt Olson and you're moving back to the area you grew up in. So comfortable. That start that he's off makes it even easier. The 1-1. Another one fouled back.
You know, it's a great point, Carl. And talking to Bob Melvin, he said that this guy was the easiest guy he's ever had to manage. I mean, you just write him in the lineup and you forget about him. He's never any problems at all. Very low maintenance.
And he's just a huge presence. His glove is terrific at first base. Yesterday stuck his bat out and drove one deep into left field for a homer. The 1-2. And this one into left field, and Olson is aboard again. Fast start for Matt Olson. Single as he goes the other way.
How about letting the ball travel the entire time? This at-bat started off with a curveball that he took that Yu Darvish thought was a strike. After that, he attacked him hard in, went up. This time, this ball leaked out over the plate, and he allowed it to travel and stay behind it. Again, another hit with 2 strikes for Matt Olson.
Matt Olson has done a whole bunch of work on cutting his strikeout rate in half. He's a terrific now 2-strike hitter. And we'll get into the things that he has done to help himself. Here's Austin Riley. First pitch he sees is a strike, a slider at 82. Think about Olsen in 19 and 20. He was in the mid 20, low 30% strikeout rate. He cut it to 16% last year, and it's at a 17% clip this year. 0-1 to Riley, big swing and a miss. So there are the numbers, and that decline is the largest in baseball the last 2 years. Simple thing is working in a cage with a pitching machine. 0-2 to Riley. Darvish looks for a second strikeout of the inning, and a fastball misses away at 96.
It's not your average pitching machine either, right? That pitching machine can throw 100. So high velocity pitching machines are certainly something you're starting to see more and more of.
Abrams shaded up the middle on a ground ball. The area to go is between first and second, but there's nothing doing there. A filthy sinker from Darvish. He's got his second strikeout.
Oh, just well executed. You can see the two-seam grip and riding underneath the swing. It's almost like it's reversed from back in the day where right-handers throw two-seamers into righties and four-seamers away.
Here comes Marcell Ozuna, the left fielder, 325 to start with 3 homers. 7 runs batted in. The infield doesn't shift at all from Riley to Ozuna. Abrams playing on the second base side, a second, and he fouls that straight back. Outfield is Jurickson, Profar in left, Trent Grisham in center. Matt Beatty is in right tonight. And if you look at Grisham, it's basically in a direct line behind Abrams and shaded towards right. Against Ozuna, who's a hole hitter and hitting it as hard as anybody in baseball to start this season. The 0-1.
Yeah, but one thing that I do love is how they're playing the defense right now. Yes, you're leaving left center field open, but with the shadows, we saw the first pitch fastball fouled off, and you look at the Marcell, he can hit pitches above 95 miles per hour really well, and his hard hit rate is huge.
StatCast was powered by Google Cloud. This is, at least early, game 1 from Darvish this season. This stuff is moving everywhere.
It's a great rotation on that slider. Looks like it's a strike a long time and still ends up in the dirt, unhittable.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Alby struck out. Olsen a single. Riley struck out. The next one to Marcell. Will not chase. You're a pitcher. We have this discussion all the time. If he strikes Ozuna out, did he strike out the side?
In my book, yeah.
In your book, doesn't matter if there's a base runner.
Wow.
No, this is a debate.
I guess define the side, right? That the definition of the side is supposed to be 3 up and 3 down.
I side with you.
I take it. Yeah, you strike out 3. Yes, take credit.
2-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. A fastball that ran up at 95 miles an hour.
This is interesting right now. If you're Marcell Ozuna, you're thinking, okay, he opened everybody else up in this inning with an off-speed pitch, but he opened me up with a fastball. It's 3-2, runner will be in motion. What do I throw? What does he throw me here? If it's you, Darvish, most likely it's a slider. But then again, could it be the fastball?
Payoff pitch, runner goes, swing and a miss. Well, in Coney's world, he just struck out the side. In spite of giving up that single to Olsen, he strikes out Albies, Riley, and Ozuna. The Padres to the plate for the first time on Sunday Night Baseball. ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. San Diego, California, the Padres, Yu Darvish outstanding in the top half of the first. And now, as they get set to come to the plate, we take a look at the lineup that Bob Melvin in his first year in San Diego puts out there. Grisham has struggled to start. Nola's behind the plate. Cronenworth has also not gotten off to a great start. Machado and Hosmer have been outstanding. Profar's got a bunch of home runs to start. Hassan Kim and C.J. Abrams rounded out. See the number of runs they're scoring a game, which is midway in the league, 15. And here you go with a kid, last name Elder, out of the University of Texas.
22 years old. You know, I think it's a trend, Carl and Eduardo. You're going to see these kids coming out of college that are ready to go. Just one full year in the minor leagues. Here he is at 22 years old, and he's got a chance to establish himself as a rotation piece.
What sport isn't that happening in? Youth being served. And it's interesting, you have so many college pitching coaches and hitting coaches go to the majors without any major league experience. Now you're seeing the pitchers come out of college and jumping right here. Both he and Spencer Strider, who's in the bullpen. First two guys not drafted in the first round of 2020 to advance to the major leagues. They're both here tonight. There's a good chance we see Strider later in this game. That first pitch was in there for strike one to Trent Grisham, hitting just a $150 to start. Working quickly is Elder, and that one is down and in. A slider at 84 to even it up at 1-1. Thing about Elder too, he does throw around the plate. Grisham's not a guy that will chase, and he swings at that, fouls it straight back. He had the 5th lowest chase rate last year. Remember that draft of 2020 was reduced to just 5 rounds. Torkelson's here, Detmers and Garrett Crochet, Spencer Strider and Bryce Elder. In there, and he punches him out rare. Grisham caught looking. Then Elder starts off where he left off with a punch out.
I talked about Elder being a movement specialist. Nothing he throws is straight, and here's the two-seamer right in the front door, catching just a bit of the corner.
How many times did we see this from Greg Maddux? And, you know, just freezing guys and the hitters knowing that he has it in his back pocket, yet it is really difficult to pull the trigger on.
Ready to pitch to Austin Nola, and that one is down for ball 1. Doug Eddings has the plate tonight. Brian Knight is at first. Billy Miller, who got into it a little bit with Kenley Jansen late yesterday, is at third. Roberto Ortiz is out there at second. The 1-0. That's outside. You can hear Eddings say it. No, that's outside.
The Braves aggressive with the shift, something that they did last year for the last 2 months of the season. It worked to perfection.
That's in there for a strike. It's interesting, Eduardo and Coney. Look at where Matt Olson is. Ground ball. He's not running as far as Nola would to first, but he's running. Way inside. 3-1.
If you're playing defense right now, you have to love Elder's tempo. Just gets back on the rubber. By the time the ball's thrown back to him, he's already straddling that rubber.
That's ball 4 inside. Nola draws a walk. First base runner for San Diego, and now you get to Jake Cronenworth and Manny Machado on deck. So here's Cronenworth hitting .229 with a .349, .314 line. He hasn't hit a home run yet. He's got 4 runs batted in. First walk. He had a bunch of full counts, 6 of them in his debut, and ended up getting every one of those guys. So he's got that now on the resume. Major league walk, check to Nola. Pitch to Cronenworth. That one's elevated. 2 balls, no strikes. Elder's an interesting cat. He was a kid that grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Played a lot of baseball. It was travel baseball, and he actually grew tired of the travel. He didn't want to be in the car that long. 2-0. 3 balls, no strikes. So he shut it down. He picked up golf. So this is a little easier. It's more convenient. Get to hang around my family, get on the boat on weekends. And when he got back to high school, he said, I think I'm going to try baseball again. But the coach of the high school team said, no, you pick one or the other. So he stuck with golf on a 3-0. And you may get a quick meeting here from Rick Granitz as he's walked 2. In any event, year 2 of high school, a new coach shows up in the baseball team, and he says, you can do both. You can do both. We like what you can do for us. Just do your PFPs. Be here when we need you to start. Then you can go golf. And had a terrific high school career, but nobody was impressed enough to offer him a scholarship. At the end of his high school career, he was going to an all-star showcase, and he called the University of Texas and said, come watch me. After 1 inning, the coach left. He said, I'm done. He goes to another all-star showcase a few days later, and Texas is back, and then they offered him. And the rest, obviously, is history. David Pierce loved him for the Longhorns, and now here he is on the mound, having walked 2 for Manny Machado. Swinging at the first one. Swanson, Albies out at second base on a close play. So we may have our first review, as Jake Cronenworth said, I'm in there. Very slow roller hit to Dansby Swanson, and he got it to Albies. Cronenworth came up signaling safe. And we are going to have our first Sunday night baseball review.
Yeah, and 2 things happened in this play. One, the ability of Cronenworth being that base runner, secondary lead, aggressive as soon as contact was made, let the speed take over. But Ozzie Albies has to know the speed of Cronenworth, and also Machado know that there's only one play to be made there. If he can go out and stretch and be the first baseman instead of receiving it like a second baseman to turn 2, you might have had a chance to get him out. Instead, this one's going to be reversed.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. San Diego will retain their challenge.
Melvin, as bench coach, said let's review it. They did. They'll keep their challenge. If you review, then you don't have the call overturned. You lose your challenge. And now the bases are loaded for Eric Hosmer, who is off to a red-hot start, hitting .394. The biggest challenge for Hosmer is so many of those hits have been on the ground, and that is exactly what Atlanta is hoping he does here. Hit it on the ground. First pitch, strike 1 to the veteran Hosmer. OPS plus 177. 3 runs batted in. Shaded towards left is Duvall. A lot of room between the right fielder and center fielder. Way inside, nearly hit him.
Showing him a 4-seamer up and in. The other one now just cut in. Get the hitter to start looking in. You might get something to open up on a weak contact down and away. Let's see how he continues to approach Hosmer.
Bases loaded. Padres just underway. A couple of walks this inning from Bryce Elder, making his 2nd major league start. Hosmer will pull it foul.
Took just enough off, 86 miles per hour on that one.
See, earlier in this year, a lot of those ground balls that Hosmer hits have been finding the holes, right?
Sure have.
The Babbitt gods are in his favor so far.
And historically, April's been a very good month for him. Since he's come to San Diego, an OPS in 18, it was 848, 750 in 19, 21 was terrific, hovered around 844, and a big opportunity here early. Next one swings at a high one, and he fouls it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. All we hear about Eddie is launch angle and elevating, and Eric Hosmer just hasn't gotten that memo and changed. He is true to who he is. Tapia, Lopez, Marte, all on this ground ball rate of 50+%. Big pitch. Fouled it off the plate again.
Well, he's a competitor. He's going to continue to battle and grind out at bats. been frustrating for him. He's already even changed the way he grips and where he holds the bat, holds it a lot lower, but right there just grinding out this at-bat, knowing that he has to try to put it in play.
.542 batting average on balls in play so far this year for Eric Hosmer.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Nola's at third, Cronenworth at second. This one on the infield fly rule, and he is out. Hosmer unable to get the job done.
We talked about Elder and his movements. The cutter at 90 just starts out in the middle of the plate, just comes in just enough to get Hosmer around it and ties him up.
That brings up Jurickson Profar, who's got 3 home runs, 9 RBI through 10 games. What did Profar do in the offseason? He went and worked in, quote, baseball country, the Dominican Republic, to be with Fernando Tatis Sr. Said, I worked out, and they give me a lot of confidence that I can be myself. Also reunited with Bob Melvin, who he was with in Oakland. Strike 1. Top of the zone, 89-mile-an-hour cutter. Good chance to learn a little bit about Bryce Elder, huh?
Yeah, he's cool out there. You know, like Eduardo said, he works fast. Very composed out there so far here with the bases loaded. Nothing he throws is straight. It's either right to left movement or left to right.
Braves shift with Swanson. And this one put up to Swanson. And Elder, who his college coach said, one thing I learned about him early on, he's not afraid. Bases were loaded, he walked 2. He wasn't afraid, he gives up nothing.
What do you think about me getting a diamond tooth?
Over.
I'm willing to bet my salary I'm not going to go all year without a hit. Oh, here it is. Oh, no. Hey, Ozzy Albies, next game, you got the mic. Joey Votto nominated me. I nominate you next.
Well, he accepted the nomination, and Ozzy Albies will be wearing that microphone bottom 2. Looking forward to having that conversation. Darvish back on the mound in a game that's still 0-0, and it felt like it wasn't going to be the way that Elder walked 2 and had the bases loaded, and then got 2 of the hotter hitters early this season to pop out on the infield in Hosmer and Profar. Starts out with Travis d'Arnaud, gets ahead 0-1. The catcher for the Braves pops one straight back up here and into the seats. Played a long time. You won a lot of championships. You never played a home game on the West Coast. You nuts? Look at how nice it is.
Yes, I'd like a mulligan. Never spring trained in Arizona either.
Right.
Always Florida.
0-2 on the way to d'Arnaud from Darvish. Boy, is he gone fire. 4 strikeouts. The first 5 he has faced. Yu Darvish.
I was curious to find out with the long bottom half of the inning how Yu was going to come out, and he looked sharp. There's so much conviction behind every pitch. When you're feeling like that, it's a great feeling, especially having those shadows there, knowing that the hitters just can't pick it up right.
Little security blanket for a pitcher. That may have explained perhaps why Profar and Hosmer had the at-bats they did too. Alex Dickerson up for the Braves. First pitch just misses.
Oh, look at Yu's body language. It's the second time already he's shown on the first pitch that body language. Saw it earlier against Matt Olson.
History with the Padres and Doug Eddings behind the plate. Came to a head last year during their big-time struggles, as that one is fouled off. Eddings was behind the plate, and several Padres were complaining about the strike zone, and eventually they got thrown out. That was all part of their miserable slide. Over on ESPN2 right now, there's our guy, Christopher Mad Dog Russo. And look at Michael and A-Rod. You got an inning off now. That's on ESPN2, right?
Head bobbing.
Right. Swing and a miss from Dickerson there.
I take it wasn't a yes or no question.
It may very well have been. It doesn't matter. Very few people more passionate or knowledgeable about baseball than Chris Russo. Darvish 1-2. He's got 4 strikeouts already. Here comes the next one. And that is not going to be a strikeout. Sky high on the infield. Hosmer is there to make the play.
Well, you want to try to predict what this guy's going to throw. Here you go. Take a look at that list.
How does the Supreme not hit the batter? It's like Supreme is getting in on the elbow. What is the Supreme?
Good question.
It's only thrown on Fridays.
Yes.
I once went to a restaurant and asked what is in the ingredients, and they came out and said kitchen magic. Is that what the Supreme is? It's baked in.
Special a day.
He gets ahead now of Adam Duvall. Adam Duvall was nothing short of sensational. Of course, he and Peterson and Soler came over the trade deadline and helped the Braves turn their season around last year. Ended up with 38 home runs. You're looking for his first in 2022. The 0-1.
And the good news for you, Darvish, is every time he's started a hitter off 0-1, he's struck them out. So 0-2, it's your choice.
I loved your reference to usage at the beginning of this telecast.
Yeah, I stole it from you.
That was behind the curtain secret.
Who's on first?
Here it comes. This ball is driven to center field. Grisham is going back, and now he'll pull up and make the play. A 10-pitch inning for Darvish, who has been terrific. He's retired 6 of the 7, 4 strikeouts. Ozzie Albies mic'd up and ready to go when we come back on Sunday Night Baseball. Yeah, the many faces of Ozzie Albies. Terrific personality, fun to be around. You go and get a chance to be down on the field before a game, and you just hang out next to that guy, and it is a blast. He has a microphone and an earpiece in now. Ozzie, thanks so much for doing this. So last week when the microphone was offered to you by Kike Hernandez, how did you find out about it?
I was eating dinner, and my phone started blowing up. Teammates and Tomas, my VP thrower here with the Braves, he called me. He's like, "Hey, they nominated you to have the microphone next week. You know that?" I said, "No, I don't know about anything." And then after that, I look at my phone and I realized the video was going around. So that's when I realized, okay, I have a microphone, so I'm gonna go and have fun with it with you guys.
And you had Votto talking to you during Game 1, so you at least kind of knew what it was about.
Yes. When he asked me about this diamond tooth and all that stuff.
That's right.
I hope he gets it though.
What's it like to look over your left shoulder and see that big third baseman there in the shift?
Oh my God, he's a beast. I know that every day. I give him a hard time every day. When we in the clubhouse.
1-2 to Beatty, given a ride. The wind holds it though. Ozzie, did the wind shift? Because pregame we were launching balls into the wind. They were going out.
Yes, they were. The wind has changed a little bit. It's holding the ball right now. I thought Dewey one was gone.
All right, so what's it like with the shadows as you start to move into a shift for Ha-Seong Kim? Is that a big challenge, both offensively and defensively, or just more offensively?
Yeah, it was a little rough to see the first inning. Me and Densley was kind of chatting about it, but right now it's getting better, way better.
Ozzie Albies, the second baseman for the Atlanta Braves. Now on the shortstop side is Ha-Seong Kim, the shortstop for the Padres, up, and that's in there for strike 1. So we've asked a bunch of Braves. I don't think I've asked you. How did your life change when you became a World Series champion?
Oh my God, the best thing ever. The best thing in the world. As a little kid, I dreamed for that moment. I was always watching it on TV. But Densley just told me focus on the game. But it has been fun and crazy. When everywhere I go, people tell me, "Hey, congrats on winning the World Series." It's like, it's crazy. And then last week we had the rings. It really hit me. I was really emotional.
So you get your solitude when you're out on a boat fishing, right? That's where you get away. And that one is over the head of both Ozzie and Swanson, and Ha-Seong Kim is aboard with a single.
Come on, baby. Do a dance. Yes, Sundays, normally I'm on the boat fishing. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm just enjoying a little off time with the family and friends.
So what are you fishing for usually on Sundays?
Everything. I love me some yellowfin tuna, but I like the wagyu fish also.
All right, so Abrams is up. Fast runner at first. And that one's high. So what are we thinking here, Ozzie, just defensively?
Right now, ground ball to me, double play, and ending double play right here. That's all I'm thinking right now. Hit the ball to me.
You realize that if that happens, then we don't have you much longer.
1-0. Oh. Nope, that's up the middle. That's going to get down. Kim will stop, and all of a sudden, the Padres, like they did in the first inning with 2 men on. Damage from the 8-9 hitters, Kim and Abrams, and we go back to the top for Grisham.
Yeah, I was hoping he hit that ball to me, but he hit the line drive single. I'm sorry, guys. Any double play would be better right there. We can do it here.
Now, what is that card that you're holding up? What does it tell you?
It tells us where to be if we're shifting Grisham right here or we're staying straight up. But right now, we're staying straight up on him. That's the reason why I have the card with me. And then with which sign and pitch we're going with.
Well, Elder got out of it in the first after a couple of walks with 2 pop-ups. And here's Grisham, who struck out looking his first time up, and that's inside. Is that positioning dictated by the situation or just the hitter?
It does situation also, because right now, if there is nobody on, we play him the shift.
Okay.
But with people on base, especially in runner scoring position, we play straight up. We want to get a double play right here. Come on, baby.
Are you inclined at any point, Ozzie, to go and talk to your pitcher? Will you do that during a game?
Yeah, I won't be scared to do that. That's something probably needs some time to calm down, make better pitches. Why not give it to him?
Yeah,
of course.
He's behind 2-0 now to Grisham, the leadoff hitter. 1 man down. Ha-Seong Kim and C.J. Abrams back-to-back singles.
Come on, baby, come on. Crowded. I like it.
Like you're home now in Atlanta, always crowded now.
Yes, it's amazing.
3-0, misses badly. 3rd walk of the game, bases loaded for the 2nd consecutive inning.
Here we go. Doesn't give him a blow.
Rick Rannis, the pitching coach, coming out to join Osby, Dansby, and Elder.
This guy's sink's pretty good too, right? All the way, right? We're gonna roll him up right here. He'll be over aggressive, right? But anything we just gotta stay down on, okay? For the most part. You got sliders and drop, okay? You got all your pitches. Let's go ahead and just work contact seconds, right? Do that for me. Here we go. Hey guys.
Turn down the microphone a little bit so we wouldn't pick up exactly what Kranitz was saying. What was the message, Ozzie, you can share?
You want 3-3? What's up, baby? How you doing?
Bases full of Padres for Austin Nola. He walked his first time up. Ozzie on the shortstop side, a second.
Amor de Mamero. I gotta get there.
Elder looking for a ground ball. First pitch into right field. It's going to get fouled.
And
I'm gonna get there and do me, because we gotta get him. Hey, he has a big lead again.
And you can tell Austin Nola right there trying to hit the ball the other way.
Yes, he was. You can see his swing, his approach, everything.
Matt Olson is way off first base. Here's the next one to Nola. Oh, he got him, and that'll bring in a run. Bryce Elder does not have the control he had in that first game. And 3 walks and a hit batter makes it 1-0 San Diego.
Doing good? Good.
Anything you're seeing as a pitcher here on his control?
He seems to have lost a little feel for that cutter, and he throws that a lot for strikes. And then the sinker and the changeup off of that works off of the cutter. So when one thing leads to another. When you lose command of your best pitch, and then you go to your secondary pitches, it's hard to throw them for strikes as well.
Jake Cronenworth, the 3-hole hitter, with Speedy Abrams at third.
He's missing up with the cutter a lot, and that's his best pitch against lefties. And we've seen a steady diet of those inside the lefties for strikes. And there's a thin margin in there to get the call, and he's not getting them now.
How about 2 high-stress innings already?
Yep.
First one, 22 pitches. So far this inning, 18 of them.
Next one to Cronenworth. Swing and a miss. Looked like he was swinging for a grand slam.
Ozzie, notice that you do have that little hop right before the pitch crosses the plate. Is that something that you worked with Ron Washington?
Yes. We work on that for me to be on time for anything hit to me, because he's a big guy with creating your own hops.
1-1. Here it comes to Ozzie. Backs up, flips to Dansby. To first, not in time. Good hustle down the line by Cronenworth, and it's 2-0 Padres.
What's up? Not hit hard.
Yeah. He can fly.
In between on the flip anyways.
He can fly.
See the replay. Ozzie had to make a decision. Do I go and attack it, or do I take a step back? He did the right thing, taking a step back. Cronenworth, as we heard Ozzie just say, just a little too fast.
Cronenworth is a terrific multi-sport athlete. He's a hockey player growing up. Terrific speed. He's kind of the glue guy, and it's a fielder's choice first and third for Manny Machado. In the dirt, terrific block by Darno. And Elder's looking at his fingers. Fourth pitch of the game coming up for Bryce Elder. And man, he yanks that foul. Oh. Went into the seats hard.
Ozzie.
Yes.
How's the experience with the earpiece?
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's awesome. You can play with this every day if you want to do science. It's perfect.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bersham is at third. Cronenworth at first. Deep to left field. Back goes Ozuna, and he is there in front of the track.
Ozzie, we got Phillies and Brewers next week. Who are you nominating?
Yeah, I appreciate Kike Hernandez nominating me. I'm nominating Bryce Harper for the next Sunday night game baseball.
I wonder if Bryce is at dinner and his phone's about to blow up. Ozzie, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. See you guys.
Very good to have the second baseman of the Braves. Ozzie Alves.
That's all you can do. Think I'm going to charge that?
It's impressive. Impressive kid. Right
But
there.
it was fading away, though.
It's impressive.
Back here in San Diego, Padres manager Bob Melvin. And Bob, it's always a special challenge when you face a pitcher you haven't seen before, like Bryce Elder. How have you guys handled that?
I think pretty well. I mean, we you know, the plan today was make him throw some pitches and see what he's got. You know, we put some pressure on the first couple innings, broke through that inning, so hopefully that trend continues.
What are you seeing in Yu Darvish so far today?
Good fastball again. It's a mix of pitches that gets him going where he wants to go, but I think his fastball in this season, at least early on, has been really good, and you see him using it here.
Bob, thanks. Back to you.
Buster, thank you. He started Eddie Rosario off with a cutter. So 8-9. Rosario and Swanson haven't hit yet. Padres jump out to a 2-0 lead. Next one here, and Eddie sends that to the seats.
You know, to Bob Melvin's point, Yu Darvish has 7 swings and misses. 4 of them off of that fastball. So if you're missing bats with your fastball, that's going to give you confidence out there to keep throwing it.
There's a good look at the usage. And again, Albies, a terrific peek behind the curtain on the communication that goes on between middle infielders. We got a lot of inside baseball there with all the action that was on the bases between Ozzie and Dansby and the shifts. Rosario hammers that one to right. Going back is Beatty, still going back, and he's there to make the catch on the track. He got a good read on it, didn't have to turn around and sprint, but he kept backing up, and Rosario's early season struggles continue. Next Sunday night, well, you heard it, Bryce Harper, it's yours if you want it. Brewers and Phillies finishing up a 3-game set at Citizens Bank Park. It's available on ESPN Deportes and ESPN Radio. Our coverage starts at 5:30 Eastern Time on ESPN and the app with Baseball Tonight Sunday Night Countdown. A lot of teams, Brewers and Phillies as well, trying to get their footing. A lot of 4-5, 5-5 teams to start the season. As Swanson looks at a ball outside. You know, think about it. For Bob Melvin and every other manager, like, this is final week of spring training in a sense. You know what I mean? Because of the shortened spring.
Absolutely. The starting pitching's not stretched out. The rosters are going to be reduced come when the calendar turns to May. Some teams with 15 or 16 pitchers on the roster, that's going to go down. Starting pitchers are now, this second time around, are up to almost 100 pitches.
So the steadying hand of Bob Melvin, who forever was with the A's and Billy Beane, and obviously has a track record where he's been and the success he's had as Swanson swings and misses. Oakland was about to go into kind of a rebuild. Chapman leaves, Olsen leaves. The relationship with Billy Beane there had been that conversation. Maybe both of them would end up in New York at Citi Field. And then Billy wasn't the answer there. So it was really the ownership of the A's and Beane who suggested, you know, if there's an opportunity, strike 3, Darvish picks up another strike. And Yu Darvish now with 5 punch-outs. But back to Melvin, if there's an opportunity, you should go for it. Like, we're looking out for your best interest, which speaks, I can't imagine, to the relationship Billy Beane has with Bob Melvin and the respect he has.
It does, ultimate respect amongst them. And look, the years that Bob Melvin put into Oakland, and he had to adjust as a manager, understanding how to use the analytics that they were giving him and using it with matchups, I think played to his success, and he understood that. And because of that, that mutual respect gave him an opening to pursue others.
The shadows are gone now, so as Albies bats for the second time, Darvish gets ahead 0-1, and that didn't look like a comfortable swing from Ozzie Albies.
And again, he started and so far just thrown Ozzie off speed after off speed. He threw him a fastball, but it was out of the zone. Just a show me pitch.
So 1, and how about it? The only guy on that side is Manny Machado. That back-to-back 10-pitch innings for Yu Darvish. And back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings.
Back in San Diego, Brian Sitker, what are you seeing in your at-bats against Yu Darvish early?
Well, he's kind of mixing it, keeping it away from the middle, that's for sure. So just having a rough time getting anything going right now.
So you know there's a theory in baseball called the championship hangover. The teams that win a championship the following year can struggle sometimes. What do you see in your guys this first year after your championship?
I don't notice that. I just think, I think actually we're doing a lot better than we have the last couple of years at this time of the year. So if anything, we've flipped than what we normally are right now. So I don't know that there's, I haven't felt that yet.
Okay. Sid, thanks. Back to you.
Buster, thank you. Yeah, they've had some struggles to start seasons, including last year. And Elder picks up the strike there on Eric Hosmer, who is batting. It's almost like we're watching two different games. Like Darvish goes out there, and the inning, half inning takes 4 minutes, and then Elder has come out twice, and it's taken 20 minutes.
And right on theme too, right? Four-seam fastballs. Darvish throwing hard and throwing well.
Well, there's a good 1-2-3 to Eric Hosmer, who strikes out. Perhaps Elder settles a little bit here with Hosmer going down. Well, the Braves basically spent the entire first week celebrating, and as Brian Snitker has said recently, I'm kind of looking forward to the dull routine of baseball, which you understand what that means to him. It means let's just play baseball, let's get on the road, let's kind of get out of here. Part of the reason that they're celebrating and how they celebrate is with this thing. This is the World Series ring. It's got 750 diamonds on it. Every one of them kind of tells a story. As the first pitch is in there for a strike. The other part about this unique ring is that it actually opens up, and when you open it up, I certainly don't want to break it given its value. You knew which way it opened, but inside you can't see it. It actually has lights that operate. There are lights in there.
Oh, I see it.
It illuminates.
It's impressive.
That's Truist Park. There were rubies in there for every home run that they hit during the World Series. There's a whole bunch of tributes to Jock Peterson through this ring, including the beginning of his quote, "We are those," and you can't say it or write it, but everybody on the team knew exactly what he was saying when he said those words. There's an ode to his pearl necklace. Down the right side, there's a pearl on the ring. And of course, Jock Peterson wore the pearl necklace last year. Brian Snitker tells an unbelievable story about the ring, which he doesn't wear, because when he got his ring and did wear it, he bruised his finger from shaking everybody's hand so often with it. I mean, here, you've had many rings. How different is this than the 5 that you have?
There is no excess room at all for any more bling, right? I mean, it is everywhere.
And let's thank Eric Young, as he said Eduardo, or has he actually mentions my name, Eduardo. Souvenir City is what I usually say after every home run. This right here is the biggest home run of his life.
Yeah.
Right here, this ring.
And you heard Ozzie. I mean, they all, look, you know it 5 times over, but they all say that. Like, this is what you dream about when you're 6 years old. And you could be Eric Young and not get it for so many years. You could be Austin Riley and get it in year 2 or 3 of your major league career.
And you can milk it for the rest of your career. Trust me. I mean, 20 years from now, there'll be an anniversary. There's an anniversary after 10.
Right.
You can have an anniversary whenever you want.
Here, how's that ring? Now, some diamonds on that ring. That's one of yours.
96, 99. You can see she started to fill it up a little bit more as we go on. Nothing like this one, though. Wow.
Yeah.
That is loaded, that Braves ring.
Matt Beatty. You know, you go online and you can read all about the ring, and there are different estimates as to how much something like that cost. Reportedly around $50,000 of value. The World Series ring. So we thank EY for that. Ozzie Albies for coming on with us. And the Atlanta Braves now trying to do what the Yankees last did. 99, 2000, and back up a World Series championship with a World Series championship.
You know, one last point on the ring. It's not just the players and coaches. People in the organization, scouts, front office personnel. A lot of people that you wouldn't think behind the scenes get to share in that. And to me, that might be the best part.
And they took care of all those people, the Atlanta Braves front office did. And I love that they were able to enjoy it and get their rings as well.
Beatty, ground ball right back to Elder. Well, there you go. He just did his best Yu Darvish. He punches out Hosmer, Profar, and a ground ball from Beatty. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, our telecast presented by Taco Bell. That ring was really special. Bring your friends to the one spot with all of your favorite free MLB games. Play the hits with Beat the Streak, Quick Pick, and more. Visit MLB.com/play and download MLB Play today. Here's Matt Olson, who will not receive one of those rings. And there's a bunch of tributes to the great Hank Aaron. Hammer and Hank, there were 44 emerald cut diamonds, of course, to honor Hank. 755 diamonds to be exact, a significant number in the career of Henry Aaron. So the Braves tied their history with their World Series. First title since '95. Darvish behind Olson, 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Many of you have heard the story about Olson and how he found out he was offered the 8 years and $168 million from the Braves. He was in an airplane and his agent told him to keep his phone on because they were ready to make him an offer. And when he got the text in the airplane, yeah, there are certain airplanes you can get texts in. That ball is driven, and that's another hit for Olson. Then he steps on first, ball ricochets, and Profar picks it up. Matt Olson 2 for 2, and what a start to the season for Matty O.
What Olson right here. Breaking pitch, just waits for it, lets it get deep, and keeps it fair the opposite way. Hands stay up, quiet on the way back, almost like a golfer when he understands where that club head is. Matt Olson understands exactly where the barrel is and gets it by the infield into left field for the double.
Matt Olson was hitting .412 when the night began. He's got a single and a double and sets it up for Austin Riley. A little more on that pitch from Darvish to get ahead 0-1, 95. So he gets that text up there and he's like blown away by the offer because he had built a house in Atlanta with his wife Nicole, and he jokingly said, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get the mail. He finds out he's going there. He's signing an 8-year deal, and he asked, is it guaranteed? Which, of course, all the money in baseball is guaranteed.
Thanks, Marvin Miller.
What a life. And here's Riley. No balls, 1 strike. Ouch, got him on that left hand. That's a terrible place to get hit by a pitch. So many bones inside that hand of his. Let's hope Austin Riley's okay.
Again, one thing that you, Darvish, had to do today to be effective is you better throw inside. It makes that breaking pitch a lot better for hitters. Diving out over the plate, probably still not being able to see the ball well. He hits it fair and square as the ball ricochets and goes towards the Padres dugout.
I see so many hitters nowadays that have a big pad in their batting gloves, almost like a cricket player. Certainly could have used one there.
No one almost looked like got him on the side, thankfully, and not the top. So he goes down to first, and now Marcell Ozuna with Olson at second. 6th multi-hit game of the year for Matt Olson. Dirt ball 1, back-to-back base runners after Darvish retired 9 of the first 10 he had faced.
Those 6 pitches that he faced Ozuna with last time, there were 2 fastballs, 2 sinkers, curve on a slider. Started him off with an off-speed pitch here.
Most hard hit balls in baseball this season. Ozuna coming into the day. Holds on that one, 2-0. Park's got a little quiet here after Darvish was so strong for the first 3 innings.
Trying to change it up second time around the lineup.
No pitch calm here. You see the traditional signals being called.
2-0 straight up. On the infield, Abrams makes the play.
Meet Ultimate Hybrid, advanced ceramic and wax technology. The best of both worlds, but better. Only from Mothers.
And Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher, who hit that big World Series home run last year, came off his bat at 112. Remember, he was just coming back off that thumb injury and got healthy right at the end of the World Series. Came off Graven. It was the second hardest hit ball in the 21 postseason. Here he is with 2 on. Run from Darvish. Ball 1 down. Communication there between Doug Aidings talking to Roberto Ortiz, the second base umpire. Abrams kind of has to peek around Darvish to see what's going on. d'Arnaud gets jammed and he fouls it off. So I was under the impression Darvish did use pitch count.
No.
Well, after the last outing, I think he wanted to switch it up a little bit, right?
Could be.
A little whirly bird swing, d'Arnaud, catcher to catcher.
Donks Nola right on the head.
Yeah, it is curious. Bob Melvin told us before the game that he was in favor of using the technology. Obviously, they're not doing it here, and it's when the game really slows down with a man on second base.
d'Arnaud, shallow right. Beatty, late read on it, but he's there to make the play. Yeah, look, the people who have designed PitchCom, really smart people, we got a chance to speak with them. They implied, like, you're not going to hack this thing, but the start did reek of like someone's eavesdropping on PitchCom.
Well, remember a couple years ago when Darvish was with the Dodgers, where he struggled and he thought maybe they had the signs on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we see one of the best teams that he faced out picking up pitches. He ends up struggling with them as well.
Off speed, misses high.
You know, you were really good at this in your career, Eduardo, but the majority of pitchers that tip pitches come from the windup as opposed to the stretch, because there's less moving parts in the stretch.
I beg to differ. And the reason is because when they come set like you, Darvish could, his hands could be further away from his body on a breaking pitch, or they could be closer to his body on the fastball. The angle could be different also of the glove. The wiggle, once he puts the ball in the glove, he could wiggle on the fastball and maybe not on the slider or changeup. It all depends who the pitcher is, but I sometimes prayed for the hitter in front of me to actually get on, because I had him from the stretch and not the windup.
So you're saying more from where the glove comes set is what you keyed on.
And sometimes how high the glove goes on the way up to then come down to get set.
1 ball, 1 strike. Dickerson in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I'll defer to you, because I tipped my pitches and it was mostly from the windup, but certainly that makes sense. And, you know, the positioning of the glove and when the pitcher gets the grip is the key. You know, he's getting the sign now.
Right.
And you have to change the way you're going to hold the baseball, whether it's a splitter or a slider or curveball or a fastball. So the minute he goes into the glove, the transition's made, and that's usually where the read comes or where the tip comes.
Way outside, overthrew it, and slipped out of his fingers as he looked down at his right hand.
And there are certain pitchers in the big leagues that as soon as they bring up the leg kick comes up, the hands come up first, then the leg kick comes, and it's a fastball. And when they keep the glove down and hands down, that's when it's a changeup. It's interesting. And there are still pitchers in this league that still do that.
Yeah, you load up, definitely. There's certain pitchers, that's more of a telegraph when you're already on your way to home plate in your delivery, as opposed to a discernible tip before the pitch.
2-2 on the ground. Hosmer flips to Darvish. He gets out of it. They will strand two. First time that the Braves were able to elevate the baseball. We'll talk about Tatis and Acuna when we come back.
Tatis delivers the electricity.
Forget about it. It's a monster bomb for Ronald Acuna.
And the track. And the wall. It's gone.
Generational type player right there.
He's going to be the face of this game very, very soon.
Now both of those players due back this season as we settle in for the Padres home half of the fourth. We got updates pre-game from both managers. Buster Olney will join us in a second here to talk about both Acuna and Tatis. What did we learn, Buster?
Ronald Acuna Jr. is mere weeks away. He's going to start a minor league rehab assignment on Tuesday, and then he'll move up to Gwinnett perhaps the following week on the 26th. And then the week after that could be the week that he winds up being activated in the big leagues. It's possible in a series that they have in New York against the Mets. At this moment, it seems more likely it's going to be on May 6th, but he's very close. Fernando Tatis Jr., however, his return may be months away. So what we learned before the game, of course, he suffered that fracture during the offseason on his wrist, and Bob Melvin told us that needs to heal.
Yeah.
They're talking about possibly mid-June, but it may also be early July before he returns to the lineup.
Long way away for Tatis. Great news on Acuna. Tatis was active though pregame. You could see that left wrist protected, but he's out there playing another sport that he's great at and enjoys, soccer, with a couple of his teammates showing some move. Oh boy, now that we don't want to see. But he did push up off of both hands there. He didn't really know that he had done any damage to it until he started to ramp up his baseball activity in the offseason. As Abrams steps in, strike one. So Hassan Kim has reached base twice, singled, scored in the second, and now on with a walk. Yu Darvish did not get a swing and miss in the last half inning. I like that conversation you guys had, because it really felt like, you know, you were convicted in your belief about guys being able to steal pitches and kind of learn something there.
Yeah, absolutely did. And Eduardo's one of the best in the business at that. That's for sure.
On here from Abrams, who can fly. Riley got him. Great play by Austin Riley, who barehanded it and was able to cut down Abrams. He does advance Hassan Kim to second. Not an easy play.
It's an excellent play by Austin Riley, who we hear so much about his defense, and he continues to just show his range, not only to laterally, but right here coming in, recognizing as soon as CJ squared up, to be able to just do the transition and throw off that right foot. Perfect throw over to Matt Olson.
So the sacrifice has a runner in scoring position, and here's Trent Grisham. Struck out in a walk, got stranded at third base.
Get credit for a sacrifice there, but that looked like more like he's trying to beat that out, going for a hit.
Yeah, no doubt. And you look at what Riley at third base has been able to do defensively the more he's worked with Ron Washington, the better he gets. You know, Chipper Jones always said this guy's one of the best defensive third basemen that he had seen coming up through the organization. And Ron Washington has continued to work with him, and the numbers right there show it.
Maybe about outs above average for Riley. He made a terrific short hop pick yesterday, and in talking with Washington before the game, do you go over and remind him like that's why you work? And he said, no. He came off the field and told me that's why we do what we do. Thank Ron Washington, and it is a daily routine that the infielders go through. Two balls and a strike. This is pregame with Wash and Riley. That's a short hop. He made the exact play yesterday.
That's every infielder, and also Marcell Ozuna has joined the party with the infielders.
Yeah, the structure and the routine daily really pays dividends.
That one runs a little high, and Elder's control issues for the night seem to be continuing here. 3 balls and a strike. I asked Washington who the greatest pupil was as far as what you had to do the most. And I mean, the list is long, but he said Miguel Tejada. Miguel Tejada would make all the great plays. It was the routine ones, and we got him to a place where he made them all. That's in there for a strike. 3-2.
That's interesting because I thought he would have said Marcus Semien, because Semien, when he came to the league, really struggled.
Yep.
Remember, defensively, and then all of a sudden they brought in Ron Washington, and it just clicked.
And the relationship he has with Ozzie Albies, he said, I have that because remember when I came over here, Albies was hurt. We were together all the time. Just misses inside off the plate. Got a walk here for Elder. Predict who's going to dominate the 2022 season. You could win $100,000 worth of Bitcoin or cash with MLB Season Pick'em presented by FTX. View rules and enter at MLB.com/season pick'em.
I'm really surprised right now that there's no activity in the bullpen for the Atlanta Braves. 2 high stress innings in the first 2 innings, over 20 pitches in each of those. A quick bottom half of the third, but right now it's that time to maybe just start getting those guys loose. Maybe not hot, but at least start playing a little soft toss out there.
Yeah, his opening game, 8 3-ball counts. He didn't walk anybody. Tonight, 5 of them, and all have resulted in walks. He also has a hit batter. He got the check swing call for a strike, and there's another strike, so ahead of Austin Nola, 0-2. Be interesting, Coney, where this ends up. Is this that game where you say, you know what, he kept us in it because he didn't have his best stuff? Or did the Padres tack on to a 2-0 lead?
Stuff-wise, it's been a bit of a slog for him. Just 2 swings and misses on all of his pitches.
0-2 on the ground. Swanson will go to third, get the lead runner there, and that'll be it.
I'm kind of surprised that he did not go to second base with this. You have Austin Nola, who's a catcher, not a fast runner. I think Ozzie's wondering the same thing. Why did he not just come to second base and then we have a chance for 2? We'll look at the hide home, and you tell us from home. For me right here, if you know the runner, Nola being the catcher, maybe you have a chance for 2.
Now Cronenworth. Swing and a miss. Boy, Jake is swinging out of his shoes. We saw that with Luke Voigt yesterday, who's getting the day off. Cronenworth has swung and missed badly at a couple. Voigt did that all day yesterday. Melvin said he feels like Luke, who's so good at going the other way, taking walks, was just trying to make a big-time impression. He gets the night off. 0-1 to Cronenworth. This one on the ground. Albies, Olsen. That'll do it again. Elder pitches out of trouble. We'll come back. Another fascinating week when it comes to Major League Baseball. Best thing we saw on these diamonds and perhaps others after this. Welcome back, everyone. You see the Western Metal Supply Company building down the left field line. The more famous sites here. And speaking of sites, there were so many great baseball moments. In fact, every week there's a million of them. We are asked to come up with the best thing you saw each week. Like I keep saying, we should have a top 10 list. Maybe show visually the top 3, but we could have a top 10 list. So we'll go over the best things we saw this week. And it's really in baseball, not just Major League Baseball. It's in baseball. We'll put Eddie on the in the on-deck circle. He'll come up first as Darvish fires the first pitch to Duvall for ball 1. Want to know. And that's on a play. This week, of course, was significant for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it was, no doubt. You know, 75 years, that number right there, Jackie Robinson. Not only did the Major League Baseball players wear it, they wore it proud, but it was the Dodger blue behind every uniform, chest protector, and it creates the conversation for that young fan that's watching the game, asking his father, grandfather, grandmother, friend, why? Why the 42? That's how you keep that memory alive, and I applaud everyone that wore the uniform in Major League Baseball for making sure that number 42 is always talked about year in and year out.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Good pitch from Darvish. Now the ceremony in Times Square, where 42nd and Broadway for the weekend was renamed Jackie Robinson Way. I agree with you, though, Eddie. The fact that 42 hangs in every ballpark, just think about the generations of fans that walk through. And at some point, you look around, you see retired numbers, and you see 42 up there, and it just leads to the question, who was 42? And the story can be told over and over, and everybody will have their own spin on exactly the significance of 42. Great week, great job by Major League Baseball, celebrating Jackie Robinson 75 years later. Strikeout 6, by the way, for Yu Darvish. All right, Cody, how about you?
Well, I'm going to have to double up from last week. You know, and everybody thought Clayton Kershaw's game was the one that everybody wanted to bellyache about. But how about Roki Sasaki? Back-to-back games. He went 8 perfect innings this time with 14 strikeouts. He threw a perfect game in his last start with 19 strikeouts, including 13 consecutive. What about a follow-up? And then his coach yanked him. The manager took him out of the game after 8 innings.
Perfect game, and he gets taken out after 8. Didn't we see that in Major League Baseball at 7?
Yeah.
We saw that at 7 with Kershaw. Round out there to first by Eddie Rosario.
What about you, Carl?
I just can't wait for you to keep an eye on that for the next start. We'll revisit that next week. I thought this was an amazing thing that I saw. It comes from a youth league baseball, and little boys up at the plate, and you could hear the people in the background saying, choke up, Avery, choke up, Avery. And to see what the catcher does to Avery is exactly what you hope every boy or girl playing baseball or softball would do. I'll show it to you in just a second. Here's Swanson with 2 down. Ball 1.
Oh, come on, Avery.
So I love that. You can hear Mom say, come on, Avery. And then everybody's saying, choke up, choke up. So the catcher helps him choke up on the bat. The next pitch, he puts it in play. The catcher helping the opponent was great.
How about Mom saying, oh, that's so sweet?
Yeah, it's great. Good on the catcher. And I'll tell you one thing about catcher and his ability to multitask. You don't think he's hearing those parents saying, choke up, Avery? And Avery's not choking up. So he said, I'll help you. I'll show you what that means. We'll get to Buster's perhaps in the next half inning, but again, you could have a top 100 list of the great things you see in the world of baseball each week. Just misses inside. Darvish behind 3-0.
Got a future batting coach there, no doubt, right?
Right.
See that kid in the big leagues.
And boom, result. Three 3-0 to Dansby. Right down the middle. All right, Buster, go ahead.
How about the amazing start of the Guardian Stephen Kwan, who saw 116 pitches before he swung and missed, a .541 on base percentage. I texted Terry Francona, manager of the Guardians, asked for a comp. He said, well, given his size, ability to put contact in play, how about Ichiro's little brother?
Yeah. Swanson, no contact there, 3-2. Imagine what Kwan was able to accomplish as a hitter, making contact as often as he did without swinging and missing one time.
That was unbelievable. I think one of the swings, he thought that he had broken the streak, yet it was called on the pitch, not on the swing against the Reds. And it was hard hit contact also.
How would Kwan do against you tonight? Darvish, 11 swings and misses. Dansby does foul that off.
Was it Engelbert, Humperdinck, Quando? Hey. Love that song. When? When was the streak going to end? Ended at 116.
Did not expect an Engelbert Humperdinck reference tonight. Yes. That one caught me off guard.
But he's on your playlist, isn't he?
I like it, though.
2 down, 5th inning, 2-0 Padres, 3-2 to Dansby, swing and a miss. Yu Darvish has got a dozen swings and misses, and he has completely frustrated the Atlanta Brave hitters tonight. Bottom 5 with Manny Machado coming up. Now, if you like pitching, you can get up in that seat and start moving around here, because Darvish back to his old tricks. 2 more strikeouts, 7 in the game, and we just saw the first time Darvish had fallen behind 3-0 and come back to strike the batter out. He had 5 of those last year. This was his first, as Manny Machado steps in, and now ahead 2-0. Spencer Strider, good buddy of Bryce Elder, is up in the bullpen. He of the 100+ mile-an-hour fastball. That's in there for a strike. So it looked a little different if Strider follows Elder. Get that mustache that he started growing when he was in high school. Some have the ability to do that, as Manny sends this skyward. Albies, Olsen. Well, that's another one, like Brett Phillips, who's joining the K-Rod cast right now over on ESPN2. His interaction with the girl who was dealing with cancer, and then the note, and then the bracelet, and the home run, like, that's what I mean. One best thing you saw, it doesn't do it justice. Like that's on the top of every list, you know? I'm glad that he's on ESPN2. He is so good for baseball, Brett Phillips. And such a better player. He's in so much better shape. I mean, he's really developed as a baseball player.
Oh, he leaned out big time. When I saw him in Port Charlotte during spring training, I was like, dude, what'd you do? He said, I finally ate right.
Yeah.
Worked out, did everything I needed to do to make this team. I was like, dude, you're on the team. Hey, you never know, and I love that.
It's a pretty good designated pitcher, too. Had a nice outing the other day, making a heck of a play over off the mound.
Play, yes. Yeah, they had a shift on. There was a pop-up down the third base foul territory line, and he went over, slid, and made the play. But his airplane run in the postseason.
I think the common theme, Carl, and you know, as you mentioned, it's the human side of it. So it's getting to see these players' personality, and that's what we're miking them up here on Sunday Night Baseball, and K-Rod and some of the players on there. It's just about for these players to show off their personal side that the fans want to see.
Yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hosmer has struck out once, and he flew out to the shortstop. You think about the way this Padre team has been built. So many of the players have been acquired via trade, and Eric Hosmer's name is always in trade talks. Fouled off the plate, and perhaps for the first time now, Eddie, with Bob Melvin here, who's a big supporter of Hosmer, the voice that he has in the clubhouse as a player, obviously, feels like maybe they're just going to settle in.
Yeah, like maybe they are, and that's the thing, and it's about getting consistency. And so far with Eric, getting off to this good start really helps. Really helps with him. And, you know, he's such a competitor. He goes out there, he's already won a World Series championship. And most importantly with him, you see his stance, you see his hands where they go. He starts off okay going towards the umpire, but he's trying to get rid of it coming up and back and hiding from the pitcher. And what I mean by that is you want to have quiet hands. It's okay to load and go back with your hands, but they have to be visible to the pitcher where the ball's coming from. Watch from this angle. Look how the hands hide behind the body. Now it's a longer trajectory to be able to get to that pitch. And that's one of the things that they've been working on.
That's one's elevated into right, coming hard, sliding, and unable to make the play is Rosario. A hard line drive off the bat of Hosmer, and he's on first.
And this is a perfect example. 3-2, decides to go with an off-speed pitch at 82 miles per hour. You get the exit velocity at 107.9, but he struggles with that fastball. This was a breaking pitch. Has time for the hands to get out and hit it out in front. And this is the potential that Eric Hosmer still has at the age of 32. If he were to be quieter with the hands, with the fastball, it would be scary. He'd be able to lift the ball consistently, and that's what they've been trying for him to do for a lot of his career.
Elder will leave with 89 pitches, 1 out in the 5th inning. It was a battle. Spencer Strider coming in next. Stream out-of-market regular season games live or on demand, plus MLB Big Inning and select pregame and postgame coverage. Blackout and other restrictions will apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Ryder. Take a look at the numbers for Bryce Elder. 4 1/3. This was a struggle, but I got to believe, Coney, that Kranitz and the rest of the staff and Elder learned a lot tonight, right? This is a teachable game for him.
It was a nice little comeback because it looked like he was on the ropes there for a couple of innings, and then he finished up. Still got almost 90 pitches out of it. Still only 2 runs on the board. He's going to look for a little help from Spencer Strider here, who throws absolute fuzz, about 100 miles an hour.
Speaking of 100, that was the hardest hit ball of the game off the bat of Hosmer, 108. Here's Strider for his pitch. On the ground, Olsen, nifty pick. He goes to Swanson, covering Strider. 1 pitch, double play. Boy, that is the Ron Washington school of taking that short hops. Olsen charged it, got it, fired, and give a pat on the back to Strider for getting over there.
Yeah. Go Glover. Go Glover, you get it. Throw it over to Swanson. Back over, great pick at first.
He threw me 3 splitters. Se ve un poquito, no se ve mucho. Me tiró 3, pero no se ve bien, ¿oíste? Por la sombra. Para que sepa. Please. A mí.
Just so you know, right there, Ozzie letting him know. He threw me 3 splitties, and you can't see it well because of the shadows. He continues to throw him off-speed pitches.
And he's been off balance.
It's tough to see. Again, right now, I think it's the best that Ozzie has been able to go with the approach, but he's crushed the fastball so far in the first 3 games of the series.
Good view of the new batter's eye in the background here in San Diego.
Another breaking pitch misses. So you think about Albies, and he's been one of the great second basemen since his arrival, really. The power numbers are there. He had career highs in homers and runs and RBIs last year. And you look at the money that's being thrown around to some of the great players, which he is. And you remember he signed a 5-year, $35 million extension in 2019, which, Buster, the one reason you never comment, I think, on people and their salaries and what they agree to or don't agree to is you never know the circumstances that they're dealing with and why they may say yes or no to an offer.
That's exactly right. You see Ozzie's great personality. Well, he told me that personality was the same as his father's.
Line drive, and he's out.
He told me that his father was the one who really fed his passion for baseball. He would take him to the games. He said he was like a brother for Ozzie. Well, a few weeks after Ozzie signed professionally for $350,000 in his signing bonus, his father passed away because of a heart attack. And at that point, Ozzie told me today, he told his mother that his goal for her was he did not want to ever have to work again. So he signed that signing bonus then. He suffered a big elbow injury when he was in the minor leagues, came back from that, and then Carl signed that $35 million deal, helped take care of his family.
Yeah. You've both been around players, right? You just never know the circumstances. When you look at it on the surface, and you're like, wow, he's just worth so much more than that. And then yet you realize he's taking care of things that he promised his mom or his dad he would take care of. And there'll be another contract for him.
There will. He's 25 years of age. And the thing that when we were having a conversation with him today that stood out is he's like, I play baseball. I play. I don't work baseball. I play baseball. And $35 million from where he's from and in his circumstances, it's like I get paid for it.
Olsen down the line with carry towards the pole, and it just goes foul. I'll be honest, when you're sitting here in the stands yesterday watching a baseball game and seeing guys like Albies and Olsen and everyone else out there, and you realize, my God, these guys get to do something they've wanted to do since they were kids. They get paid a lot of money for it. They're on these fields. You're looking at names like Cano as Olsen hits one on the ground, and other tremendous second baseman that Ozzie Albies is in the conversation with. But yeah, Eddie, his perspective is spot on. I play a game I love. I travel the way I do. I stay in hotels. I'm doing what I want to do. And we kind of like, $35 million, not 35 cents.
And you know, I remember when he signed the deal, a lot of people were all over his agent, David Meter. Why are you doing this? It's like, it's what my player wants. It's what he needs. You know, it's not about just taking the deal and being able to cash in on it. He knew there was probably more for him.
Riley center field and Loud. Grisham back. He stops. And the park holds another one. By a handful of 10-pitch innings for Darvish. He gets through that in just 9. U is rolling, so are the Padres. Only 5 hits in the game. It's 2-0 San Diego. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Yu Darvish has retired 9 straight, and it started with a real quick first inning where he struck out 3 of the 4 he faced. He gave up a hit to Matt Olson. Has a strikeout in 4 of the 6 innings that he's been on the mound. He's got a 7 strikeout piece, and everybody that's out there on the hill is enjoying what Yu Darvish is doing tonight. He's matching nearly what he did in his first start. We are back with Spencer Strider on the mound, 99 miles an hour and a miss, only a second pitch. The first one resulted in an inning-ending double play. See that mustache on Strider's face? He told us last night he's been growing that since he was in high school. Apparently, he's been compared with Dylan Cease, so as Buster had tweeted out earlier, and he told us last night, he's considering sending Dylan a cease and desist order not to have the same mustache. Misses again there, 3-0.
We're going to see a Raleigh Fingers mustache soon, I wonder.
Keep it going.
Break out the wax.
Keeps doing what he's doing. Why not?
You can't look at Spencer Strider and not think about what Hunter Green did last night. 39 pitches of 100 miles an hour or more, which is a Major League Baseball record. This one is playable. Swanson looks at Ozuna and says, it's yours. And Marcel is there for the out.
As electric vehicle driving becomes quieter, so do our tires. Electrified Hankook. Hanguk Tire.
So for Green and for a guy like Strider, Coney, he throws that four-seam fastball about 68% of the time. He's been working on his slider and his changeup, and they make up the other 32%, 25 of which he throws a slider on. The hitters will all tell you, you know this as a pitcher, the feedback is I'll eventually figure out the fastball, right?
Absolutely, especially with everybody throwing harder nowadays. Sooner or later, the hitters are going to catch up.
Popped up, and an easy one for Albies. So how difficult for somebody that made a living literally getting through Little League, high school, Clemson, throwing hard, and it's worked. You know, it's almost like I gotta get a new trick in my bag. Like that development, how difficult is that, especially later in your pitching career?
Really hard. That's why, you know, the old notion of don't teach kids how to throw curveballs. Well, to a certain extent, at some point, yes, yeah. But then no. I mean, if you don't learn how to spin the ball, you know, when you're in your teenage years, then it's really hard to learn it properly. Once
you're playing catch up, right?
Yes, you're playing catch up. Once you get older, it's almost impossible to learn how to really spin a baseball and get elite kind of curve or break or shape to your breaking stuff.
I'll still take my chances if I have 99 in my back pocket.
What was your kind of, when did you learn? I mean, I know that Laredo is the famous, but when did you go with the spin?
I learned from my dad at a young age. When I was 12 years old, he'd take me in the backyard and teach me how to do it properly, but he wouldn't let me throw it in the game until I learned how to do it properly, until I learned the right technique and how to do it. And then when he let me throw it in the game, it was just a few times here and there. He didn't let me start snapping it off one after another.
Well, we just went triple dig right there from Strider and a hundo, and here comes the next one. That missed away at 98, so he took something off.
That's what was impressive about Hunter Green that you mentioned before with the Reds, is he's got an elite slider to go with it too, and the pitch design nowadays is to be just spectacular. It's a separator. These pitches come in on the same tunnel, looking alike.
So what did you do to get Eduardo out? You faced him what, once?
Did you once? 3 times.
I remember you stepping in the box. Yeah, I think you got me once, or a double or something. I think you handled me pretty good because I was tipping my pitches and he knew what I was throwing. So.
From the stretch.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, stay in the ballpark. Stay in. Almost.
That's Yardo. He took it.
Man interference they called with the bases loaded. Would have been my first grand slam, Carl.
So ground rule double?
Ground rule double, and they allowed all 3 runners to score because there were 2 outs and they were going on the pitch.
Okay. Good read by the umpires. Sorry about that.
Sitting on that fastball in, he knew it was coming.
And after the game, I was so proud. I was like, I just hit David Cone pretty hard right there. And Coney comes out saying, well, he was supposed to hit me hard. It was a 3-1 pitch. That's why he's in the big leagues.
So that was it? 1 at bat? That's it?
No, I think you had me the first 2 times, but I deleted those.
1 for 3.
Yeah.
With 3 ribbies.
3 ribbies. I'm good. Take it to the house.
Eddie has a highlight resume reel that he keeps. So anytime he knows it's a good time to call it up, we'll
very short.
Cue it up. Short video.
Get in, get out.
See if Abrams is inclined to do anything with 2 down and on first base. Not going. Grisham looks at a high one that misses at 99.
You know, the thing you look for with Strider in that 4-seam fastball is not just the velocity, it's the carry, the spin efficiency. That's what we saw from Darvish earlier. His 4-seamer kind of backed up early in the game, and then all of a sudden it started to stay true and have some riding action on it. That's what you look for with Strider, up in the zone especially.
Way up and a lot of ride. And we've learned over the last couple of years this idea that the fastball, quote unquote, rises. The truth is it doesn't sink because hitters are trained to see the ball go down. It doesn't go up, but it stays on plane.
Yeah, it just doesn't come down as much.
Right.
It gives the illusion of kind of a rising or riding fastball.
2 balls, no strikes to Grisham. He misses again up top, 3-0. Rocket ship rise through the system from low A Augusta to the Braves pen in 21. And back-to-back walks.
Every pitch from the stretch missed up. What does that tell you on that one, even though the K zone had it as a strike in the top part of the zone?
Tells me that when you're inconsistent or you're wild high, that it's hard to get those borderline calls, because umpires definitely like to anticipate the flow a little bit. And if you're all over the place, you're not going to get those borderline calls, especially the high ones at the top of the zone.
Now, Bob Melvin told us pregame, one of the things that we have been doing with all the strikeouts the last 2 days, we got to be more patient. They have now drawn 7 walks tonight. Took something off there with an 85-mile-an-hour slider in there for strike 1. So if that was a game plan, it's paid off. 7 walks, a hit batter. They've also left 7 men on base.
Yeah, that's the key. 11 base runners and only 2 runs.
Yep. Nola way outside. We did that game. Braves Reds Thursday, Major League opener. He struck out 5 of the 6 he faced. And the entire Clemson baseball team texted him. Of course, he went to Clemson, the whole team. One ball, 1 strike, way inside. Pops out of Darno's glove, but no advance from Abrams. Good speed on the bases with Abrams and Grisham.
The hardest thing for a young pitcher to do, Eduardo, as you know, is just to slow yourself down that half a beat. As he's just a little quick with his delivery, and that's causing him to miss up, to get behind the ball a little too much, instead of extending out there and reaching right through the catcher.
Beaten into the ground, charged by Swanson, gets it on that hop, and he's able to throw the runner out at first. He did not use that fastball very often in that bat to Nola, and he gets the ground ball. 4, 5, and 6 due up in a 2-0 game to the 7th. Welcome back. Yu Darvish, 3 base runners. No one's advanced past second. Is Planning Ahead is brought to you by Voya Financial. They do some planning ahead, but the Padres tend to kind of plan in the moment. Like, all right, what do we got to address? We got to address pitching, and much of it has come via the trade, including Sean Manaea from Oakland. Now, Mackenzie Gore threw the other day and looked really good. He's one of those guys that they are hoping they develop, and he becomes the guy that they think he's going to become, the lefty with some good power.
Just want to see everybody get healthy for the Padres. All those moves, all those trades, all that talent. Obviously centers around Tatis Jr. when he comes back, but Clevenger's a part of that.
Yep.
When they get the full Monty working, we'll finally see what these Padres can really do. And maybe for the second half.
2 balls and a strike as Yu Darvish continues to pump it in there. Only 81 pitches here with nobody out in the 7th inning. Loud sound to left field, and looking up, going back, still going back, and it is gone. Marcell Ozuna, his 4th home run of the season. And the Atlanta Braves are on the board as he takes Darvish deep.
Boy, got himself in a hitter's count. Ball exits the ballpark at 109.1 miles per hour. 407 feet distance, and this is what Marcell Ozuna can do. He can hit a heater. Gets that bat head out there. Challenges him with the #1 down in the zone. Knows how to elevate it. And Marcell, as soon as he hit it, he knew. Hands are quiet the entire time. They come up a little bit, catches it out in front. Lets the bat head do the rest of the work.
You saw Profar in the distance. He went back, stopped, and he said maybe got to keep going back because the balls have died tonight. But that one over the wall, and for Marcell Ozuna, his 4th home run of the year. He's got 8 RBI, and amongst the leaders in Major League Baseball. d'Arnaud chases a high one at 94, and he swings right through it.
It's the first two-seam fastball that Darvish has thrown that kind of took a seat, didn't keep running in. And Ozuna did not miss it, just dropped the barrel of the bat on it and launched.
.22 hard hit balls leading the bigs. Of course, Ozuna's bat being back is a huge boon to the Braves. Of course, Ozuna missed last season, or much of it, after a domestic violence incident. He apologized to his teammates. He watched the World Series from at home in the Dominican. An embarrassing situation for Ozuna, who claims to have learned a great deal from it.
And then he went right back to work, played winter ball. And not only did he play winter ball, he played left field, tried to get in as best shape as he could, because he knows most likely when Ronald Acuna Jr. comes back, he's going to be the designated hitter. He loves playing the outfield, but the reality is that in order for him to be effective out there, he has to charge the ball every time it's hit to him on the ground if there's a runner in scoring position as hard as he can, because the arm isn't the same as it once was.
4 homers ties him with Albies. Seiya Suzuki, who's off to a flying start for the Cubs. Arenado's been the first 2-week MVP for the Cardinals. C.J. Cron has been great. He's got 5 to lead the league. d'Arnaud swings and misses wildly at that one. And Darvish picks up punch out number 8.
One thing Darvish has always been able to do is spin a slider, and you can see right there a great shot of the gyro spin and then turning over and getting the depth on that slider.
Wilson now up for the Padres, as Alex Dickerson steps in. 2-1 game. Ball number 1 over on ESPN2, the K-Rod cast. The aforementioned Stephen Kwan joins the telecast.
I was wondering quando he was going to be on.
Oh, I understand the when, but the whole show me the Kwan from Jerry Maguire also came up during Kwan's streak. He keeps hitting like that, there's going to be a lot of Kwan in Kwan's life.
It's kind of a counterculture going on in Cleveland. I mean, right? Terry Francona has always been a great baseball guy. And they've been a pitching factory there. They've really developed pitching very well in Cleveland for several years now. Now a high contact lineup.
Yep.
Kind of interesting to watch them as they try to do the best with what they have over there in Cleveland.
There's a couple of teams it feels like every year in Major League Baseball, the Guardians and the Rays, like they are going to be good. Doesn't matter who they have, they're just going to be good. Two balls, no strikes. Darvish to Dickerson. Bends one in there, 2-1.
How about the most self-proclaimed unluckiest man in baseball right there in the first week and a half of the season, Alex Dickerson. Says, I've hit the ball hard right at guys. I think I've made what did he say, Carl? Maybe 4 or 5 plays of the week.
Line shot like that off the screen. Yeah, I think he said 7 or 8 top plays based on somebody doing something against me. He loves being here with this team. It's a fun group to be around. And it's interesting, you know, he's played for a few years on teams that weren't competitive. The realization of a World Series title, a team that's expected to win, what that does to you every day you go to the ballpark. This one on the ground to second. He runs it out, but Abrams there to make the play.
Well, Darvish really, the solo shot notwithstanding, has been very good. Pitched off his fastball, and that was the scouting report coming in. You see the true four-seam right, and now the two-seamer running in very hard. I mean, that's a great combination. He has really made that pitch work so that when he does go slider and off speed, it's that much more effective because you've got to respect the fastball now when he's throwing it and establishing it, and he's always had great spin on that slider.
Pitching in front of almost 38,000 here at Petco Park tonight. Throws the ball 1 to Austin Riley. Yeah, much more like his opener against Arizona than that dud in the middle against the Giants. 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, limited base runners. Trying to get through the 7th. Another one. He spins in there at 83. 1 ball, 1 strike.
.62 strikes and 32 balls from Darvish out of those 94 pitches.
Cutter, his slider moving away from the right-handed hitters has been so effective. Looks for his 9th strikeout. Pitch number 96 on the way. Laced into left. That's going to get down. Profar's going to give chase. Austin Riley's going to head into scoring position and slide in with a double. Bob Melvin is now walking slowly towards the mound after Darvish got tagged by Austin Riley.
Again, Duvall gets the the third time in this pitch that he gets that spinner. This time he stayed on it. Sold out to it. Gambled, guessed right. Ends up at second. And Yu's night is over.
Adam Duvall, who has not hit the ball very well, tatered that one into the corner. That sends Darvish to the showers. And it brings Wilson into the game. So Duvall on second. He's the tying run. Eddie Rosario due up when we come back.
Why do you change your bat? It's a homer. Why do you change your bat? We told him, right?
¿Por qué cambia el bate? ¿Ah?
Did he change the bat for the home run?
I guess he probably used an Andrew Jones bat because he leads the Braves in home runs here at Petco with 9. Maybe.
Well, here's Steven Wilson, 8th round pick out of Santa Clara in 2018. He will bump it up there, 97 to 100 as he faces Rosario. Runner goes, Rosario to center. Grisham is there, and that will do it. Well, like Strider, who throws hard, it took 1 pitch to get out of the inning. Wilson comes in and throws 1 pitch to get out of the inning and strands a runner. Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre on the outside. His statue as ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. The Atlanta Braves haven't stolen a base all year. You saw Adam Duvall running. It looked like he had that base stolen. Rosario then popped out to center field to end the inning. You can suit up this year at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic caps, t-shirts, collectibles, and more. Gear up with your favorite team at MLBshop.com. All right, Buster, we see the 19th, Tony Gwynn, the statue. You've told us many stories this weekend about Tony Gwynn and his pursuit one year of that 400 batting average.
hit 400 in 1994. He was batting .394 when the strike began. And in that last road trip before the strike began, he went 19 for 40, hit .475. His knee was feeling good, and he told me he had a plan. If he was close and had a chance to do it, he was going to use a bat called 7 Grains of Pain. And what that bat was one he would use only against pitchers who threw breaking balls, and he was going to use it down the stretch if he had a shot at 400. As you guys know, they didn't finish the season. He didn't hit 400. And the next spring, he broke the 7 Grains of Pain in an exhibition game.
You experienced any of the grains of pain there, Coney, against...
I get asked the question a lot. You know, who was the toughest hitter you ever faced? So before they even finished the question, him. That statue right here, him. He was.
Everything good about baseball, Tony Gwynn, off the field, as much as it was on the field. 98 World Series, what he meant to the city. And
Eduardo, the quickest hands. It just seemed like he could wait so long to recognize pitches.
Just to our left is Tony Gwynn Jr. Center field, crowd liked it, but it's not going to go very far except into the glove of Adam Duvall. One man down here in the bottom of the 7th.
Tony Gwynn against David Cone in the '94 All-Star game. And it was Anthony Gwynn who reminded me of that moment, Coney.
Coney, are you ever going to get an out today?
He was that good of a hitter. He really was. And
we talk so much about bat-to-ball skill now.
And guys, it's not only that. I remember when I was playing first base and Brett Boone was playing second base for Cincinnati. We were at the time in Riverfront Stadium, and he came up, got his base hit, where obviously in the 5-6 hole, comes over to first base and says, "Hey, if you and Booney keep moving like that right before the pitch is thrown, I'm always going to get a hit." I was like, "You saw us? You're a left-handed hitter, and you saw the second and first baseman?" He goes, "I see everything." I was like, wow.
Well, one of the great baseball memories I have, 99 All-Star game at Fenway Park when Ted Williams came out in the golf cart and Tony Gwynn was right there to greet him, and just the respect that they each had for each other. Collection of talent on that field that night. Manny, that's going to be foul. I mean, generationally, there's just a few guys that transcend the generation they play in. He was one of those guys.
he was, and if you wonder, would he have adjusted to today's modern game? Absolutely. He could hit for power. He sacrificed power for average, but he could launch. I remember that too. It wasn't just hits I gave up to him. He took me deep a couple times too when he wanted to.
2-2 to Manny. Right center field. Duvall's there for another one. Get a little antsy when the ball goes in the air, but the ball's falling in the ballpark tonight a lot.
Close to the area where Adam Jones actually stole a home run from Manny Machado. At the time, they were teammates with the Baltimore Orioles, and they were playing in the World Baseball Classic in this stadium.
So Machado batting in the cleanup spot. First time this year is 0 for 3.
I get a text message from Brett Boone saying, "I'm convinced the only hitter that actually aimed the ball, the only one, Tony Gwynn."
Swing and a miss from Hosmer. Now, was Ichiro close to being able to aim the ball?
Ichiro had such speed that he could pound it on the ground, and he'd have 50-plus infield hits a year.
Ichiro definitely wouldn't have been an exit velocity guy, that's for sure. was about more negative launch angle for him. Just hit it on the ground and go.
50 infield hits a year was probably low for him in his peak.
Oh, 2 to Hosmer. 2 hard hit balls in the inning. There's one that's going to go foul. So 742 feet of outs from Cronenworth and Machado. 362 and 380 off the bat.
Strider right here just elevates the fastball. It's been late. Threw him 3 sliders and now the fastball. If he elevates, might have a chance to get him to chase.
This is kind of an example of a 4 o'clock start where there's such, and always has been, a big difference between how the ball carries during the day and how it carries at night. What we saw in batting practice during the day is different than what we're seeing now. And takes it right out of the glove.
Sure did.
It's up at home. A lot of hands action. Got to be quiet with the hands.
1 for 3. Hosmer's been good with 2 strikes this year, and that's another one that goes foul. Coming in, he was 7 for 21 with 2 strikes this season. The rest of the Padre team had been hitting 125.
I'll tell you one thing that Haas will do is compete. He will compete every at-bat, and then when he's on base, he just is thinking all along with the defense.
Stays alive here.
He's always had a big personality, a clubhouse leader. Was a leader of those Royals teams that went to the World Series. Still beloved in Kansas City. And even Bob Melvin talked about that in the clubhouse, that the team gravitates to him because of that big personality.
Still got some years and some money on his contract. And Strider has seen Hosmer foul a bunch off here. 0-2. He did call time.
Haas owning up to it.
Yep, no, he called it.
That's on me. Just in case you have 100 in your back pocket, just to let you know that was me.
Another foul ball. Hey, best coverage in today's game. Let's take a look at Hosmer's swing through the T-Mobile multi-view.
See how his hands are moved back and behind his body. Look in the right-hand side from our home plate camera. Need to keep him quieter, and that's one thing that he's been working on the entire time with his hitting coach. Is try to soften the load on the way back and keep those hands as still as possible. He's been working on it. Last year his hands were above his head. This time around his face area. This time they're around the Padre logo, and that's what he's trying to do. Bring him back towards the umpire, not towards the dugout.
Way inside. Eric has fouled 12 balls off today.
The really good hitters, the consistent hitters, Juan Soto, Yordan Alvarez, they don't move their hands at all. Haas has been battling that because he understands this is who I am and this is who I've always been.
Good battle there. That ball had some significant spin on it out of the hands of Strider.
But this is what Haas does. Battles at bats. Big cases, how can we get him to hit the ball in the air more consistently?
Next one. And a line shot stays in the air and into the glove of Dansby Swanson. Good battle from Hosmer, but it's won by Strider. We're through 7. 12 pitch at bat, ends with an out. Three featured upcoming NHL matchup. Tuesday night at ESPN, the Kings and the Ducks. That's at 10 Eastern time, 7 Pacific in the Honda Center. Thursday night, Leafs Lightning at 8. Two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And our ABC Saturday hockey matinee, the Bruins hosting the New York Rangers, 3 o'clock Eastern time, 2 Central. The pitcher on the mound for the Padres and a new right fielder, Luis Garcia. 2/3 of an inning. And Jose Azocar has got into play right field. Matt Beatty out. Start with Dansby Swanson as we play the 8th inning of a 2-1 ball game, and that one runs a little high. Oof, gets a generous called strike. Tony up here is like, yep, I like that.
In the front door, maybe around the front door.
Dansby 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. Been a rough start for Dansby with the strikeout numbers this season.
Dansby usually chokes up on the bat, but chokes up even more with 2 strikes. Right now, he's already at the 2-strike approach when it comes to where he is with the bat. 2 fingers off the knob. But he's had a lot of damage and done damage with 2 strikes in his career. Last 10 home runs he's hit, including the postseason. Look at the counts, guys. 8 out of the last 10 of his home runs with 2 Ks. I asked him before the game, so what's the difference? He said, I choke up a little bit more. Then why don't you do it from the get-go?
In the beginning, it's this one hard on the ground. Hassan Kim, easy play. Ozzie Albies has been wearing a microphone all night long.
Was creeping? Were you creeping to get to second base? Huh? Were you have a big lead? Yeah. I'm gonna get there and do me, because we gotta get him. That ball started over there.
I didn't think I was my ball.
No, I know. That ball started over here. Hey, that ball started on me. What the heck is that?
Garcia starts Ozzie off with strike 1. Ozzie 3 homers in the 3 games here. It'll be his last chance to try to do something no one's done in a 4-game series at Petco. Go deep in each game. Misses away. For Dansby, I saw that number. 3 straight years he has struck out in each of the first 10, now 11 games. For the first time since 1913, no other player ever struck out in the first 10 games of each 3 straight seasons. Ozzie's asked Bryce Harper if he'll be kind enough to wear the microphone next Sunday when we go to Philadelphia for the Brewers and the Phillies. 2 balls and a strike. 2-2. So another reminder, next Sunday night we will be in the city of brotherly love where the Brewers bring all those arms to take on Joe Girardi, Bryce Harper, and the Phillies. See it on ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio. We'll start at 5:30 Eastern Time on ESPN and the app with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Word out of Philadelphia is Harper has said, okay, thumbs up. I know we're grateful, but I do think it does add a tremendous amount to the viewer at home to see what the player's doing during the game and how they're communicating. Well beyond our conversations with him. Ozzie not going to hit a homer here. On the ground, Manny Machado. He could still play shortstop if they needed him to. Strikes down Albies.
The science of shine. Lightning fast with ultra durable, super hydrophobic results. Mother's CMX line of car care products. The advanced science of shine.
So here's Matt Olson, who is 2 for 3 tonight. He came in 14 for 34 with an on-base percentage of .556. Strike 1. That on base leads the league this year. It's the highest by any player over his first 10 career games with the Braves since the team moved to Atlanta back in '66. Think about the shoes he's filling and the idea that he's producing. Bob Melvin, who had him for years with Oakland, said, I'll reserve my comments until we're done with this series. Matt Olson is always going to be one of the best players on the team he plays for.
I mean, it's a quiet leader. Doesn't say much. Lets the bat do all the talking and his glove as well. Remember Matt Chapman, who played with him many of years with Oakland, said, look, yeah, everybody talks about my defense, but the reason I play so deep is because I just have to throw it in the area code of Matt Olson. He will catch it at first base.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the big first baseman. That's high. So you've talked a lot about Hosmer and his hands. What's the significant difference between what Olson does and what Hosmer does?
If you're a golfer, just think about going back before when you have your swing. You have more control of that club head. Well, the same thing happens here. His hands are there, but look how quietly he brings them back.
And ready to go. On the ground, Machado. Good inning for Garcia out of the bullpen. Just what Bob Melvin wanted.
And Matt Olson quietly right there, letting the ball get deep and keeping it fair, understanding the strike zone, and most importantly, trusting his hands.
The Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Our telecast is presented by Taco Bell. Buster Olney down in the field. Up here in the booth, Eduardo Perez, David Cohn, Carl Ravitch. We take a look at our game track. Brought to you by Geico. That guy right there, home run. Matt Olson's got a couple of hits, but it's San Diego behind you. Darvish's strong outing. Got themselves a 1-run lead, and their closer, Taylor Rogers, up in the bullpen. It'll be Profar to lead things off. Rogers, another one of the A.J. Preller late acquisitions. Strider, who's already giving you 2 2/3, continues to throw for the Braves. On the bottom of the zone, 0-2. It's been about a week since he last pitched. Nasty. Strider didn't rely on that 100. Profar is gone. Here comes Azokar for his first at bat.
You know, we tend to talk about pitchers and velocity and their arm action, but really it's the lower half that leads. And Strider, great coil. The way he uses his legs generates a lot of arm speed. Can't throw the ball 100 miles an hour without being strong on your lower half.
Jose Azokar, first pitch, that's down. So with Strider there, no Luke Jackson, he's done for the year. The bullpen was dynamite last year. Are they better?
Possibly, yes. I mean, look at that coil, the way he uses that leg kick and then drives off the back leg. Potentially, it very well could be better. The key is the buy-in. Once everybody gets bumped down the order, that everybody has a team mentality and they're willing to pitch in any spot.
That'll eat your hands up. 97 right in on him.
And I think winning helps.
Great balance, and then the leg kick, the coil, and the way he finishes. All his momentum is right through the target.
He has abnormally strong thighs. If you see the size of his thighs. That one misses away, and that's a walk. Yeah, I know we were talking with Brian Snitker before. Buster Olney said, I love comps. Can you give me a comp to Strider? And Brian Snitker said, I'm hesitant to do any of that, but he brought up the name Craig Kimbrell.
It's a pretty good comp right there.
It's interesting. They've got him stretched out, too, as they're riding him pretty good here. 53 pitches thrown so far.
See how well he holds runners on now. Assecar had very good speed.
Hassan Kim very late on 98. A Golden Glove winner when he played in the KBO, and he looks at one right down the pipe, 97. He was part of the Nexon Heroes, Eddie, the Kiwoom Heroes now. Two-time Golden Glove Award winner.
One thing that we both know from having covered the KBO is you didn't see this kind of velocity there consistently.
That's right.
Maybe the best bat flips in the world, though, right? In the KBO?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't matter if they were home runs or not. He's had a 4-year, $28 million deal on New Year's Eve, 2020. Azarkar going. Darno's throw way offline, and he picked that easy. Jose Azarkar off and running with a stolen base.
High leg kick right there, and it was a great jump by Azarkar. No chance as Ozzie Albies has a conversation with him, but watch this throw. This almost hit Strider.
Yep.
Darno not known for his catch and throw ability. It's more of offense first. Stole that one off Strider with the combination.
Kim strikes out. Here's Abrams trying to get the insurance run in. Popped up to the seats. Sean Newcomb warms for Atlanta. If they can extend it.
There's so many ways of scoring from third base. I wouldn't be surprised if they just let Azarkar be athletic here, even with a left-handed hitter at the plate. If he can get a jump, be 90 feet away. Abrams has the ability to bunt with a runner at third.
That was inside, nearly got him. Abrams singled and scored in the second. The Padres get both of their runs in the second inning. Yep, he went. That's a strike. Abrams homered here in the opener. Quite a moment against the team, of course, that he grew up rooting for. Truth is, if Tatis were healthy, he'd probably be in the minor leagues playing every day, getting reps. One and two. Jam shot, and that's going to get into the seats.
As electric vehicle driving becomes quieter, so do our tires. Electrified Hanguk. Hanguk Tire.
Maybe, as Bustard said, late June, early July with that fracture wrist. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Abrams. Azarkar, great speed at second. Dancing but not going anywhere, and a swing and a miss. Really good from Strouder out of the bullpen tonight. 3 1/3 for the reliever. Last chance, and the closer coming in. He'll get Riley, Ozuna, and Darno. Anderson, Kevin Connor, star of the Braves Padres game, will join the postgame. Matt Barnes will analyze the NBA playoffs opening weekend. Celtics Nets game was incredible with a buzzer beater layup from Tatum. Plus the journey of the Warriors. Juan Toscano Anderson and the third grade teacher that changed his life at Sports Center. It's next. It's right here on ESPN. and the ESPN app. So here's Taylor Rogers, twin brother of Tyler. 3 games, 3 saves. Last appeared on Monday night against the Giants. The team his twin brother plays for. First time the Twins pitched against each other in the same game in baseball history. It'll be a challenge. He'll get Riley, Ozuna, and d'Arnaud. All 1 down. Austin Riley can do this. Most homers, 25 or younger since the start of last year. Guerrero's kind of running away with it, but there's Tatis, who, by the way, has been hurt for so long. Second, Riley with 35. Check first. No. 2 balls, no strikes.
That was close. I had him going on that.
Yeah,
lucked out.
Not too close, Coney.
I think there's an easy way to fix that rule.
What is it?
Just have a plane like the end zone in the NFL. Have a plane right in the middle of home plate going straight up, and if the bat head enters the strike zone, it's a swing. Break the plane. You break the plane with the bat head. If you're in the strike zone with your bat head.
So an invisible plane? How do you see that?
Well, we have technology. Yes, we could easily call that up.
3-1.
It's interesting that if there is an automated strike zone, that's going to be based on the plane in the middle of home plate.
That's right.
I think you could use that same concept for a check swing.
3 balls, 1 strike. Rogers to Riley. Big swing at it.
And he swung it. Rogers pitch right there, 3-1. Opened and widened the zone a little bit. That pitch was down and away, maybe in the strike zone, but it's not a pitch that Austin really wants to chase. 3-1.
2 homers, 5 RBI on the season. He's really good against breaking balls last year with an over 300 average, but he's gone there. Rogers, strikeout number 1 here in the 9th.
Sweeping slider that Rogers can throw when he wakes up in the morning rolling out of bed. He can paint that pitch, and you see that lower 3/4 angle, kind of a slinging action that promotes that sweeping horizontal movement.
I think Ozuna's going to get a dose of just sliders right here. Be surprised if he challenges him in the zone with a heater.
Good pitch, outside corner, 94.
And guess what? I think Marcel was thinking the same thing. Wait a second. Sitting on slider instead, paint.
Late on that, right on the ground, right to where Hosmer was standing, and Rogers is an out away from putting this one in the win column. Crowd here at Petco, 37,000 plus are here to start it. They're all here to see it conclude. Travis d'Arnaud 0 for 3 with a couple of punchies against Rogers. That's going to get into the seats, and he's a strike away.
How about the ability of being able to hit your spots? We saw against Ozuna right there outside corner. This time comes hard in against d'Arnaud.
Checked his swing. They'll look at first. He did not go. Another life for d'Arnaud.
Right call.
Did not break the plane.
There we go.
That one he did break the plane. He swung and it was caught. Strikeout for Rogers. Padres salvage a split in the series. Yu Darvish outstanding tonight to start, and the bullpen closed the door.
Slinging, sweeping slider. The bottom drops out of that one. d'Arnaud's over the top. What a nice acquisition A.J. Preller did by bringing this guy in to close games for the Padres this year.
He saved 30 games for the Twins back in 2019. The San Diego Padres win a pitcher's duel in a game that took 2 hours and 54 minutes to play. They got the 2 runs early in the second inning. Tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, ESPN Plus. Join us, the first game of a 4-game set. Giants and Mets at Citi Field. McGill will go for New York. He's been outstanding.